Hey guys, it's Holly. So it's been a while, but I really wanted to do a Q&A today just because I feel like a lot has happened, and honestly, I'm scrolling through the replies and there was so many comments and questions about Spider-Man, which firstly, I'm glad because I just always want to talk about Spider-Man, especially right now. It's just insane. In fact, I literally went to go and see it for a second time today. It was great. So I put up a little Q&A box on Instagram and you guys came through. So the first question is, why did you change your account name? Now, this is something that I've been asked a little bit and I sort of made a video about it, but I feel like I also left a lot out. So about a year ago, actually it was more than a year ago, I really wanted to change my username. I mean, I know that when I was 11, I made this and I intentionally ripped off the Potter Puppet Pals, and I felt very guilty about that, and I still sort of do to this day. I mean, that username, sort of iconic in a way. I mean, I guess I could have just shortened it to Potter Pals, but at the same time, I didn't want to lock myself down or feel like I'm locked into just like one very particular theme. With so many amazing Marvel sets and so much Marvel content, that has become a huge part of my channel these days. And honestly, just because Harry Potter puts out less stuff, I feel like Marvel is in some ways taking over, but Harry Potter is always the heart, the core, the soul of this channel. But another reason I wanted to change it is I just wanted to have my name in it. I wanted it to feel a bit more just like me. At the end of the day, I always just referred to myself as Holly rather than this username, so I preferred it to sort of represent me a tiny bit better, and it also doesn't sort of like restrict me into a box. It's a lot more generic, and I also created the name just based off the fact that I love taking photos on my film camera with 35mm film. I'm a huge film and TV geek. It's been my life for ages, so it just sort of fit and sort of worked, and honestly, I'm really happy. I mean, I still love Potter Pals to this day. Another reason is if I ever hit 100,000 subscribers, I don't really want that username on a plaque, no offense, but I have fond memories to it. I don't hate it as much as like a lot of my other usernames when I was a kid. Worst part about No Way Home. All right, this is completely no spoilers. I'm not gonna be that person that spoils it. That's horrible. Like, I don't want to be that person. But the worst part for me, honestly, I love No Way Home. It's my favorite MCU movie. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. But in saying that, there are still flaws. And honestly, my least favorite part about it and what I think was the worst was just the pacing of like the first 15 to 20 minutes. I mean, the second time around, it didn't feel quite as rushed, but there was a lot that they were trying to cram in into such a short amount of time that I feel like I had no room to breathe at any point there. But in saying that, I understand it honestly wasn't overall all too bad. So, I mean, I guess that's it. Fundamentally, I think the film is really good, although I would have loved a tiny bit less CGI. At some points it looked a bit awkward. I mean, I'd show you a clip, but like the movie's just come out, so I can't. But like, hopefully if you've watched it, you'll know what I mean by that. Which unreleased LEGO Ideas set are you most looking forward to getting? Funnily enough, from a LEGO Ideas fan designer himself. Hey Ben, how you going? I am personally really looking forward to Snow White's cottage, firstly. Secondly, hands down, the LEGO office. Those two by far are at the very, very top of my list. I don't really care too much for the globe. I mean, Sonic, I'm really excited to see, but I'm not like a massive Sonic fan. I mean, I used to play Sonic Mania and just like the Mario and Sonic games, but definitely Snow White's cottage. I really wanted that one to get approved the first time around and it didn't, and I'm so glad that it did the second time because I really want a LEGO Snow White minifigure plus like all of the dwarves. It's gonna be amazing. And then the office, I mean, it's the office. If any of you guys saw my reaction, you would have known how excited and just like insane I was over that set. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I don't really care too much for a lot of the sitcom sets, but The Office is like so different. I don't know. It's just definitely my favorite one. And even though I only watched it a couple of years ago, The Office is one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm just so excited for the references and just how well it's laid out. I'm definitely getting that set day one. Both of these I will be getting day one. I can't wait. Hopefully one of them comes out next year. I've got my fingers crossed. Build a droid or lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge? Well, Indy, I'll just show you. How can you say no to a lightsaber? I'm sorry, this is the coolest thing ever. It literally makes noise. I love it. I have to pick it up and like swing it around every couple of days just to feel like I've got my money's worth, but by far, build a lightsaber. I mean, as a whole, I feel like the droid experience would be a tiny bit cooler considering this, like, it's pretty straightforward, pretty basic. However, the finished product is one that I definitely prefer, and there was no way that I was gonna walk away and not have built a lightsaber. I'm gonna hit something. Oh. I really gotta get better at this. Just want to know, where did you get that giant Grogu? I want it. Well, Lego Prick Bricks. You mean this one? Okay, so this guy, fun story. So I went to Costco a couple of months ago and I saw this sat there and it was adorable. I picked him up, I hugged him. I was like, he's so squishy. It's like a Squishmallow, but I think it's called like a Qtopia or something. But I looked at the price and it was 47 Australian dollars and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I put it back. And then later on in the shopping trip, I saw these kids run up and pick him up and walk away with him, and instantly I regretted my decision. Then the other day I saw a photo of one in Claire's boot, and since then I have just been obsessed with the idea. I have heard raving reviews. Apparently he was so soft and so squishy, and just I couldn't say no. I had to instantly go and buy him, and he is incredibly soft, incredibly squishy. He's a great support pillow. Like, you know when pillow pets were a thing? This guy's even better. Like, no shade to pillow pets, but like, get on this level. He works great to cuddle, he works great to lean on, whether that be on like a chair. Personally, I sort of use him as like a pillow when I'm like sitting in my bed, or even just like hugging him like this. He's so cozy and warm, and I love getting cuddles from him. I just love this Grogu. Go to Costco. Otherwise, just look up 50 centimeter Qtopia Baby Yoda Grogu plushie thing. He's the best. He's so thick. Look at him. Don't you just want to get one? How good is he? Do you ever think you'll do an inventory of all of your Lego? Honestly, I sort of have. I didn't realize what brick set was for a very long time. And then when I realized that you could just catalog your entire collection, I was like, you know what? Certainly, let's go. And at this point, my collection was a lot smaller. I'm pretty sure it was before I started posting videos again. So it was a lot faster for me to sort of go through everything. For the most part, I think it's up to date. There's only like a few maybe like Bricklink minifigure purchases that I've bought that I haven't documented. I think for the most part, sets are all up to date. That's about it. I mean, I considered doing a spreadsheet once, but I feel like that's a lot of effort that I just don't want to put in. What got you into movie making? This is gonna sound like super cheesy, but honestly, a large part of it, I'm pretty sure, was down to like Lego stop motions and all of that. Like, I would just watch so many of them and I was like, I want to make my own thing. I mean, it also didn't help that my dad works in film and television and my mom had also worked in film and television before. So I just sort of like followed like the family suit in a way, but I'm definitely a lot more on the creative side, whereas my parents were both sort of like very technical, whereas I'm like, I want to edit things, I want to like use green screen, I want to do VFX and all of that. And it was because of stop motion that I actually learned how to edit using like Windows Movie Maker and all of that. And it just became a huge hobby of mine. Like, I would just constantly film videos and edit videos, and it would just be for fun, just a lot of passion projects. Like, whenever I had like a school assignment that was a video based, they would always be like my best performing assignments because I just played to my strengths, which was editing, and I love it. It's my hobby, it's my passion, it's also my job, which is just the best thing ever because it just makes me so happy and I enjoy it. I also love these days at least having the creative freedom, which is something that you don't usually get when you're an editor unless you're sort of like working for yourself in an environment like this, which is why I'm incredibly grateful for what I do. Though I do want to get back into sort of like the more like professional side of things as well, but I mean, we'll see what happens next year. Favorite musical artist? Okay, for this one, I want to go on to Spotify. So according to Spotify this year, my top artist, number one, was Olivia Rodrigo. To me, that comes as no surprise. Second was Taylor Swift, which was pretty funny because I actually didn't like listen to any of her music for years. I just sort of went off her. And then this year with like Red re-releasing and all of the Taylor's versions, like I was hooked. And then I went back on all of her old stuff and I was like, why was I being so mean? Like, her songwriting's amazing. Third is Doja Cat. Doja Cat definitely is one of like the favorite artists, even though like Taylor and Olivia were like some of my most listened to ones. Doja Cat is an icon. I love her stuff. I love the way she performs. She's just great. Fourth is Ariana Grande, which I honestly don't recall listening to too much Ariana Grande this year. I'm not a huge fan of hers anymore. I mean, I really love her Sweetener album. It's amazing. But like everything after that, I'm not a huge fan of. And then number 5 is Pitbull, and that was purely because I listened to the song Hey Baby featuring T-Pain so many times this year. It was insane. But at the moment, I honestly feel like it has to be Taylor Swift, Doja Cat. I'm a really big fan of Britney Spears. I love Britney Spears to pieces. And there's this like one very specific Kanye album, which is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Everything else, not a huge fan of. That specific album though is like a masterpiece and I love it. Not sure if you can legally discuss this, but what do you think of the Harry Potter 2022 leaks? Well, Rufus, luckily they were in a Lego catalog and I can. I just didn't make a video on these at first because the pictures were so bad, I couldn't actually see what was in them. And then even still, we don't have the official pictures, like it's literally just a catalog image. So I've sort of just left it because I have been really excited to talk about these sets. I don't know why I haven't yet, like even in a live stream or things like that. So let's go ahead. So first up, the books. I don't like Trelawney's outfit all that much. I'm really glad that it's different. She looks really sick, but honestly, not a huge fan of hers. I also don't like the hair that they've gone for Harry. I just don't think it properly like matches him in any way. I also don't know which one of the Patil twins that is, but I am glad that they're in a set. That's amazing. I can't remember off the top of my head what robe she's wearing, so I'll just figure that out later. But overall, the design for the book I really like. I wish the color was a bit lighter, but then again, it doesn't really matter. It looks as well like we're gonna get some fancy like divination tile, which I'm really excited for. And from memory as well, it looks like it has the Grim on it, so that should be really good. The Defense Against the Dark Arts set, I'm also very excited for. Moody looks pretty cool, and Hermione and Neville, I mean, kind of weak character choices, but I understand, it's all right. And this one, I definitely feel like is the slightly weaker one, at least at the moment, but then again, you can't really see much. Like, it looks like you've got one of those new trunk pieces, which may or may not have Moody on the inside. I think that'd be kind of weird and like dark, and considering like Lego doesn't really want to do the Deathly Hallows, dark quite doesn't make sense, but we'll figure that out later. Then you also get a replica of that chalkboard that Moody uses in class again, just like the clock tower, which is, I mean, it's all right. It's a repeat piece, works really well. I'm also really excited for the books, and just overall, I love those Hogwarts Moments books, so I'm really excited for them. And then there's the hospital wing, and minifigure wise, I think this is incredible. I love how we've got new designs for Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I love that Ron has a cast. Madame Pomfrey looks gorgeous, and it is about time. I'm so excited. It looks like there's Bertie Bott's beans, but just the exterior of the building, honestly, is kind of disappointing. There's just a lot of windows. I'm not a huge fan of it. I feel like the clock piece is very overbearing. Like, it worked well in the clock tower, but on a scaled down building doesn't quite fit as well to me. But I'm really interested to see what the interior looks like. So when the official pictures come out and we have a better view of them, I will sort of go into a bit more detail. But I'm hyped, definitely buying them day one. I mean, it's Harry Potter, like, no questions. Are you excited for No Way Home tomorrow? Well, unfortunately, not quite as much anymore. I no longer have any bookings, but I want to go and see it a third time. And every time I get so excited. Honestly, I just lie in bed and I'm like, nah, head empty, no thoughts, just Spider-Man. It's all I've got is just Spider-Man. And honestly, I love it. Would not change it for the world. Did you shed a tear while watching No Way Home? I shed several tears, both times. I think the first time I was crying a tiny bit more, but the second time I was crying tears of sadness, tears of happiness, then tears of sadness again, and then tears of happiness again, and then happiness again. And it was just an emotional roller coaster. I just got so attached to these films. It was the best thing ever. Honestly, I don't feel like a film has made me feel that way since, I wouldn't even say Infinity War. Like, I would go as far back as like Deathly Hallows Part 2. Like, this film means that much to me. Do you think that Lego will eventually make Deathly Hallows sets? 100% I think so. I'm not sure why it's taking so long, but I feel like it will happen. I don't know if we're gonna get a full wave. I mean, I wanna do a predictions video next week and do like a full breakdown of what I think is gonna happen, but honestly, I don't think I'm gonna put too many Deathly Hallows sets on there just because I just feel like they'd probably do like one or two one-off and like see how it goes first. But I definitely think we will get some. I just don't think it makes that much sense. I mean, Harry Potter is one of the best-selling themes that Lego has. It's literally proven by their little statistics. There's also so much content that they haven't done, a majority of which come from those two films. And like I've said several times, it just doesn't make sense. It's like Lego just forgetting to make sets off like one entire Star Wars movie. Like, I know we don't get much like prequel stuff, but at least there are occasional sets popping up. What camera do you use? So the camera that I use currently is a Sony a7 III, which is this fancy like mirrorless camera. It shoots 4K, it takes raw photos, which is just perfect for me because I know how to like manipulate color and like all of that when it comes to like video and photos. So just having that flexibility is really good for me, but this camera did cost me an arm and a leg, but at least I get like daily use out of it now, so I quite don't feel as bad. Then for my live streams, like build camera, I have a 1080p just like random Logitech webcam that I got off Amazon. And then for any of my vlogs, I just use my phone. Like, the back camera is fantastic. The front camera is now HD. Thank you to the iPhone 13 for that. And it's very helpful. I just didn't feel the need to get the Pro though. I mean, I would have used the lenses. I just didn't want to pay an extra like money for cameras. I don't know. Do I regret it? Maybe. Do you think the new modular is good value? I think all modulars are good value. The only thing that I have with the new modular though is that it feels like it's not actually taking up that much space on the base plate. Plus there's been a price increase. It's now an extra 20 Australian dollars for that modular. And personally, I just don't see where that is coming from. I get that inflation's a thing. I get that there's like stock issues and supply issues and all of that. But I just look at it and I'm just like, I don't know. It just doesn't quite hit it for me, especially considering the building isn't taking up so much space. I mean, I'm really excited to see it in store and I feel like my opinion might change on it then, and I definitely think it will change if I ever build it. I really want this set. I don't know when I'm gonna get my hands on it though. I think I might just wait for double VIP because I just don't have the space to display it right now. And lastly, what is my most wanted Marvel minifigure? By far, no exceptions, it is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Andrew Garfield minifigure, except it's $13,000, almost $14,000, and I'm never going to get that thing. So second on the list, because apparently I've got really expensive taste, is the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man figure from the video games. And currently on my live streams, we have a Spider-Man PS4 minifigure fun going. So one day I really hope to get this figure. I absolutely love him. I love that game. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite video game of all time. I also just would really like to have a Comic-Con figure. Like, it seems very, very extravagant, but I also feel like these things are just gonna like retain their value, so I don't feel quite as bad. But in terms of like regular minifigures, one that I have had my eye on for quite a while now is actually ye good old Civil War Scarlet Witch. I love Scarlet Witch. She's one of my favorite characters. Like, this figure isn't even that detailed, but I just really, really want her. I guess another one as well would be Miss Marvel with like the stretchy arms, but with the new one coming out with the 4+ stuff, I'm not totally worried about not getting that one, but again, she is also definitely up there. The rest of them I feel like I've been slowly collecting and slowly gathering, and my Marvel collection went from like 20 figures earlier this year to like over 100. It's fantastic. So those are all of the questions for today's video. Thank you so much for everyone who submitted them. I had a great time filming this video, and if you guys enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time guys, I'll see you later.